Bert, the big news in the sports week this week, hockey legend
Hmm.
before our very eyes, Alex Ovechkin, broke Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record, right? Like just
Yeah.
uh, played for like 30 years. He scores on a power play for number 895,
Hmm.
becoming the all-time goal leader from the sweet spot, top left circle, or so I'm
Yep.
told. They stopped the game for like several minutes. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, came out. They had a little mini ceremony. Ovi called it crazy. Bert, you watched it happen. Tell me,
Yeah.
how would you describe it?
It was an away game uh, at the Islanders, and when he scored that goal, I watched it over and over and over again because as a hockey fan, the celebration for this milestone from everyone from Wayne Gretzky, whose record was just broken, down to the newer fans. It was just great because everybody wanted to see it. Even like the building absolutely erupted. Even
Mhm.
Islander fans, they just got scored against. They were just completely ecstatic, and it is history, right? I cannot say for certainty that that record is going to be broken in my lifetime.
Yeah.
895 did it in 1487 game, or excuse me, no, Gretzky did it in 1487 games, and then Ovi broke his record in the same amount of games too, with one more goal. Obviously, there's still a couple games left in the season, so that number could absolutely go up. And now Alex Ovechkin, not only was he already a Hall of Fame player, he is now the all-time leading goal scorer. And to put it in perspective for you, the next highest goal scorer aside from Wayne Gretzky, who's now at number two, was Gordie Howe, who scored 801. Yager 766, and rounding out the top five was Brett Hull at 741. There isn't an active player that even sniffs
Mhm.
Alex Ovechkin's record. The only other active player right now that is, I guess, the second highest goal scorer who's an active player is Sidney Crosby at 622.
Yeah, and
So he's got
he's
like,
what 2 years younger than Ovi, right? So basically, it's not like
yeah,
he has
he's
a
played about 1,300 games. He's faced some injury on and off, so otherwise he'd be like right up there to game
Mhm.
wise. But goal wise, no. I mean, he's well over 200 behind, and there's no way he's
Yeah, he
going to.
basically, yeah. What I was trying to get at is he's not that younger than him. That there's
Correct.
a right, like so it's not like
Yeah.
he has a lot of extra time to kind of make up some of that ground.
Yeah.
Um, so you mentioned some of the greats. I did look up because, as most people can gather, I'm not a big hockey guy, but
Mhm.
I wanted to pay respect to Bert and Alex Ovechkin and the topic. And I looked up some of Alex Ovechkin's records. He has 149 game opening goals,
Yep.
NHL record. And I'm not going to keep saying NHL record. Every stat I read is an NHL record. 150 game tying goals, 291 six what is it? Go ahead goals,
Hmm.
136 game winning goals,
Hmm.
19 30 goal seasons, 14 40 goal seasons, 9 50 goal seasons, and 9 seasons where he led the NHL in goals. So that's 8, and then 9 if you count obviously the total amount of goals. But he has 9 NHL records. Bert, you named some of the guys. When I think of hockey, Mount Rushmore as a casual fan, obviously Wayne Gretzky is
Hmm.
up there. I think Mario Lemieux.
Hmm.
You mentioned Brett Hull,
Hmm.
maybe Bobby Orr.
Hmm.
Where, and I'm not trying to say is Alex. I don't think Alex Ovechkin has taken over any one of those guys, but where would you put him all time? Like, where does he rank? Is he above? Has he surpassed Lemieux, or has he
No.
surpassed like Yager, somebody like that?
No, no. I mean, he's
Okay.
up there. He's I would say he's on the outskirts of a top 10, if not inching his way into a top 10 for me. I mean, and this is like trying to rank quarterbacks.
Right.
It's so tough and there's so many different things to look at. Yes, he's the all-time, leading goal scorer. When it comes to total points, though, he's like 11th or 12th on the list. You also got to take in plus minus too, and so on. But I mean, the biggest thing to remember, and much like we rate quarterbacks as well, a lot of the greats that are in the top 10. So you have like your Wayne Gretzky's, your Yagers, your Mark Messier, Gordie Howe, Steve Eiserman, Mario Lemieux, Joe Sakic, and so on. the majority of those guys played in a different version of hockey. And, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, today's version is a goal scoring league and it's much faster. I mean, it actually is. So, but overall, I mean, you can't negate the fact that he's a phenomenal player. He is one of the greats. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer and will go in right away. He's got one Stanley Cup to his name, which is enough, honestly. But even if he didn't have that, his personal accolades alone are just, enough. We have been saying for a long time that he is one of the best players in the game, much like we say with Sidney Crosby too, who's still actively playing as well, and he's also on that like top 10-ish list as of right now. And who's to know what happens after this season? The Caps are sitting in a good spot, right? So, playoff wise, let's see if they go far. I do think we'll get maybe one more year, if not. I mean, there was rumors circulating is Ovi going to retire before he breaks the record, because we didn't know if it was going to happen this year, especially with his leg injury. Now that it's happened, you sit here and wonder, does he have enough to come back for one more season? I also wouldn't be surprised if after this season, if they don't end up winning it all, he's like, I'm good, I'm done. I'm not saying he's old, but by hockey standards, he's starting to look old. So,
he looks. I told you before the show, I looked. They were showing clips of like his first game versus now. And I'm like, God, hockey whooped this dude's ass. Like, that's just the amount of hockey.
I mean, celebrating. I mean, he was, dude, it's wild. Like, to break this is what I love about sports. The stories you can tell behind it. And as that commenter just said, he broke his record in the same amount of games. You cannot write something as picture perfect as that, like a movie script. And to have Wayne Gretzky there, and such a fantastic ambassador of the NHL and the game. And, he said time and time again that the NHL and, the league, the game has given him so much. So he's always there to give back. He was there when, Ovi was 3 goals away from breaking his record. He ended up scoring 2 goals that night and tied the record. So Wayne Gretzky was there to congratulate him. And then Wayne Gretzky made sure he was there for the next game, knowing that there was a chance. And honestly, if he didn't score it Sunday, we would have saw Wayne Gretzky at every single game until he actually did break the record. The respect is just, it was unbelievable. And I love the little ceremony. I love the merch. The bench absolutely clearing out and going to congratulate him. At the end of the game, Ilya Sorokin, the goalie for the Islanders that he scored against, he gave Ovi his stick, and he said at the end of the season he's going to get his glove too. So I mean, just to see that type of respect in a game, it's awesome.
Somebody asked me what I thought was more impressive: Ovechkin scoring 895 or LeBron beating Kareem's points. All-time leader. They're both all-time leader in points, and this is not anti-LeBron, but when I think of, and I think this is where a lot of people have an issue with LeBron in terms of trying to put him above Jordan. When you're so genetically gifted, I'm not saying it's like PEDs, but it's an advantage. And on top of it, hockey is like the most physical sport. And to get that many goals, I don't know if anybody's actually watched hockey. I've had the pleasure of watching a game live with my brother Bert right here. It's violent. It's fast. It's not easy to score a goal, especially when you're good at basketball. When you're shooting, there's rules to prevent people from stopping you from scoring. Right? Like, somebody can't just jump up at the last second and grab the ball out of the hoop. There's a goalie in hockey, so it's not like, if you're a good enough shooter, you're going to make a lot of your shots. You're going to accumulate those points. So with hockey, there's not only guys trying to knock your head off, but there's also a goalie actively trying to stop you from scoring. And in basketball, there's less chances of that happening. So I would say the hockey, on top of the physicality, the fact that I think it's harder to score, and like, that's a lot of beating to your body to take. In the NBA, it's not as physical. So
while doing it with knife shoes,
Right. Yeah. Like, we've literally had shows where we're like recapping how our dudes are getting their necks sliced open during the game. Like, there's no threat of that type of danger in basketball, right? Like, you're not gonna, you may fall and like break your leg, tear your ACL, but like getting your jugular cut is a threat that you kind of have to pay attention to. So that's even like, it's up to me. Hockey's just more mental. Even just to skate, at least in basketball, you just got to run. Like, you know what I mean? You don't even have to Like there's so many other components to hockey that makes it way more difficult of a sport to play than basketball. That I would have to say that Ovechkin, without having any prior knowledge to hockey, other than casually watching it, I would say I'm more impressed by a hockey player having the most points or goals ever than a basketball player having the most points ever, especially when you're super gifted like that.